She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. We are very blessed that you decided to join us for a day where you're going to confront some issues in your life and you're going to succeed even better. You're like, Dani, I ain't succeeding right now. Hey, listen, friend, I understand. Hey, have you ever been in that situation where you literally stepped out in faith? You gave something your heart and soul. You gave it your absolute best shot, only to end up failing and falling flat on your face? We all have. We have, right? Look, you finally took the risk. You finally got out of your comfort zone. You finally said, all right, I'm doing it. I'm so sick and tired of not doing what I want to do. And then you reached out and what did that cause in you? Did that cause you to say, forget it? I'm not meant to do it. It wasn't meant to be. It didn't work. Did it shake your confidence? Of course it shook your confidence. Listen, I've been there. I was a homeless woman. And as a homeless woman, I came to the absolute, core of all failures, right? You see, when I was young, I judged my parents for their drugs. I judged them for the abuse that I had as a kid. I judged them for the life that they lived, the never having jobs. I mean, I really judged them. And what we know about judgment is that we will be judged in the same measure in which we judge. But I didn't know that at that time. And so here, I'm now homeless at 21. And I remember going, I'm worse than my parents. At least my parents had a roof over their head always. We were never homeless as kids, but I am now homeless. I'm such a loser. So when you've had something like that happen, right, where you did, you just said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it my best. And you trusted, you had faith. It was a disaster. What was your response? Are you in that place even right now where you're afraid to take another risk? Are you in that place where you're afraid to trust again? Are you in that place where you feel like things are just never going to work out for you and that it's not even worth a try? 844-200-3264. Again, that's 844-200-3264. Dani, why are you giving me your number? Because you and I are going to talk about this, and I am going to do everything I can to help you move past that place. You can't stay stuck. You cannot go backwards. You cannot shrink back because you've had a failure. The road to success is paved with failures. It is. And in each one of those failures, there is a learning experience. You gained an education. As long as you don't shrink back, as long as you don't judge, as long as you don't throw in the towel, as long as you don't make up your mind that says, well, fate would have it that I will not succeed. Every successful person on the planet, every person who's ever achieved a dream, every single person who's ever done something great with their life, every single history maker has had to take risks. And they have failed on the journey to making the dream come true. They failed on the journey. They have. And guess what? If you've had some failures, you're in the right place. You're on the right course. You're doing the right thing. If you haven't had any failures, you're not doing something right, friend. You're not living, actually, if you haven't had any failures. Isn't it crazy? We live in this kind of mindset, this current society that somehow tells us that if we fail, we are a failure. That somehow sells us this ridiculous life of a Disney movie that says everything always is wonderful. No, even the Disney movies have a bunch of evil in it. Even the Disney movies have failures in it. But that's the price that we have to pay in order to get to where we want to go. Failures. So you got to get good at those failures. Now, what do I mean by getting good at failures? You got to get good at them. This is what I mean by that. It's this. How you get good at failing is you learn from the experience. That's how you get good at failing. And that's how you turn your failures into a great success. Did you hear what I said? You turn a failure into a great success by what you learn out of the failure. So have you done that? If you have, I'd love for you to share with us, 844-200-3264. Or if you are in that place right now and you're just needing some encouragement, you need to know how to get yourself out of that place, 844-200-3264. Again, that's 844-200-3264. We're going over to the phones right now. I've got line 1. And we have Susan from Wisconsin. Susan, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, Dani.
Hi.
I responded to one of your comments on Facebook that you asked what makes you get up, brush yourself off, and keep trying.
Yes.
I posted because I haven't gotten there yet, and I won't get there if I don't keep going. And that attitude comes because of something I just learned this year, is that when things happen that we didn't expect to happen, sometimes it looks like we're not supposed to have what we're supposed to have or we want to have, but it's really just God giving me, testing my faith.
Yep.
Like he's saying, how bad do you want it?
Yep.
Are you going to quit or are you going to keep going?
Yep. Yep.
Since I've learned that, I know now there's no stopping me from anything I want to do. And I was hoping this would help somebody.
This does, Susan. Actually, it helps me. I love the simplicity of what you said. It's really profound. You said, what causes me to brush off my knees and get back up again? Well, because I haven't achieved it yet. So I have to brush off my knees and get back up again. That is so simple. Is it not? That's ridiculously simple. And it is the truth, right? It's the absolute truth that, hey, if you haven't succeeded at the thing that you want to succeed yet, and you have fallen flat on your face, what causes you to get up again and try is because you haven't achieved it yet. Duh. I kind of feel like an idiot right now. How about you, man? That's amazing, Susan. Seriously, and you know what that is? That is childlike faith. That is childlike faith. And you mentioned God, Susan, so I'm going to go here right now. It is. You see, Jesus said that we're supposed to have childlike faith. In fact, he said that we would not get into the kingdom of heaven if we didn't have faith like a child. And so the very picture, Susan, that you painted for me was that. Here's a kid who falls down. They brush off their knees and they keep going. Some of them don't even brush off their knees. They just go. Let's keep going. I fell down, so what? I'm still in this race. I'm going to keep going. That is a childlike faith. And that is the thing that causes people to succeed. So, Susan, you're on the right path. And I just know that those words of wisdom and encouragement encourage somebody to get up and go again. I love it. Oh, I needed to hear that today. Man, that's awesome. Okay, we got Kimberly on line 2. Kimberly, welcome from Georgia to the Dani Johnson Show.
Thanks, Dani. Knowing my success is right around the corner, I just want to be the example of the one that persists until I make it, never giving up, so my children will learn from my example. I am in that pit right now, but I'm not giving up because I do have children to set the example for.
Yeah. And tell me why that weighs heavy on you. Why is it that your kids are your anchor for your success?
Because I don't want them to set out to do something in life and fail at it and just stay there. I want them to pick themselves back up and keep thriving and keep going until they succeed what they want to succeed at.
Yeah. Now, Kimberly, as a mother, do you know inherently that they're going to suffer through failures?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, you know that. And so therefore, you know the same for yourself. Isn't it funny that as we are adults, I don't know what it is about us. We got some thick skulls. What is it about us that we know that our kids are going to encounter trials, that we know they're going to encounter failures? And our advice to them is not stop, but it's keep going. And yet so oftentimes as adults, when we hit that roadblock, when we fall flat on our face and our face is in the mud and we're bloody, we entertain quitting so easily. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you as a mom. I really am. That A, you know your kids are going to encounter failures. And by the way, don't be afraid to tell them that. You should tell them that. That when you fail, my son, when you fail, my daughter, keep going. Keep going. When we fall as a baby, the falling has a purpose. And the purpose is to strengthen our legs. That's the purpose. If we didn't fall, we would not strengthen our legs. So God designed falling as a purpose for strengthening. Kimberly, you're a good mom. And I'm happy that you're using your kids as a strengthening mechanism for you to say, I have to set the example of following through. I have to set the example is that when I fail, I don't stay there. And you are not supposed to stay there. Your success is around the corner because you refuse to quit. That's how it works, period, end of story. This is Dani Johnson. We're taking your call. So what do you do? What do you do when you fall? How do you pick yourself up? What drives you to pick yourself back up? Do you have a dream and a vision that's bigger than your failure? Hello, come on now. Is your dream and vision bigger than your failure? Yes. Then you must keep going. You must keep going. You must keep going. Do you want that dream and vision bad enough that you're willing to allow the failure to strengthen your legs so you can keep running towards that dream? Come on. How bad do you want it? Because everything you and I go through in life is a test. It's a test to strengthen us, to test our muscles, to find where our weaknesses are so that we can strengthen those places and that we can endure, we can be patient, and we can walk by faith and not by sight. Because right now, your sight might be a pool of blood because you fell flat on your face. It could be you got some rocks in your mouth because you ate some gravel. Falling on your face. Been there. Oh my gosh, have I been there. But friend, I got to tell you, man, I almost quit 23 years ago. I almost quit my life. I almost slit my throat 23 years ago. Thank God I didn't. Wow. Thank you, God, that I didn't. This is Dani Johnson. We're going to continue taking your calls about how do you get back up again right after this.
Dani will be back with more expert business, money, and relationship advice to help you live the uncommon life. More resources, more training, more results. The DaniJohnson.com Insider Membership is your ultimate success shortcut. Get exclusive access to reports, videos, audios, ebooks, cheat sheets, and other training for your personal and professional life. This is truly DaniJohnson.com's best kept secret. Become an Insider member today and get on the fast track to success.
Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org. I'm so blessed that I found what is in Grooming the Next Generation for Success. This is a book that is being taught in universities around the world. It's been noted as the best book on parenting that has ever been written. Crazy, if you ask me. But the point is that this thing gets results. Get your copy today, 888-757-8880. Again, that's 888-757-8880. Or go to DaniJohnson.com. That's DANI Johnson.com. Get your copy today.
Now, more of the Dani Johnson Show.
Dani, I'm never going to succeed. I always fail at everything. Listen, friend, if that's you, I understand. I used to believe the same exact thing about myself. How could I not? My dad, the man that raised me, that turns out he wasn't even my biological father, the man that raised me used to tell me I was a failure. He used to point out every single thing I did wrong, right? I'm doing dishes. If there's like something left on the plate, point out the wrong one versus the other 20 that were clean. You know what I mean? Or he ignored the A's that I got on my report card and pointed out the B or the C. Or one year there was a D. I got a D in geometry. Did that D in geometry define me for the rest of my life? No way. No way. It did not define me for the rest of my life. Friend, listen. Failure is a part of success. And if you've had a failure, it doesn't mean that you are a failure. It just means you're human. Come on. Failures are common to all people. Gosh, it's almost as though you need to write that down. Maybe you need to blow it up and make it a giant poster. Failures are common to all humans. That just makes me feel better. It does. It's liberating to think about that. That failure is common to all humans. To all of us. We all. Isn't it funny how we get it in our heads that it's only us? That we're the only ones that encounter failure? That, everybody else has not encountered failures? Failure is common to all humans. What will make you rare is that you don't stay there. That makes you rare. Don't stay there. If you've had a setback, don't take a step back. Did you hear me? If you've had a setback, do not take a step back. Step forward. Step forward. Even if you're humiliated, even if you are embarrassed, even if you don't want to, even if you just want to sit there and have your hissy fit, even if you want to sit there and call all your friends to have a pity party, if you have had a setback, do not take a step back. Step forward. Come on, you can do it. We've all had bad doozies, man, doozies. I've had some big doozies of failures where you are humiliated. You feel like an idiot. You don't want to face anybody. Come on. Be done with the pity party. Be done with beating up yourself. Be done with blaming everybody else. It's time to rise up. You were called to something greater than failure. Do you actually think that, God knitted you together in your mother's womb and put failure on your forehead and he destined you for failure? No. No way. That is not what he destined you for. He also put a dream inside of you. He did. He planted a dream and a desire deep inside of your being. And that deep dream, that deep desire is calling out to you right now. Come on. I remember when I quit a business and a career in 1999. And I cried the blues until 2003. I just knew I would never speak again. I just knew that it was over. I just knew that my vision and my dream wasn't from God, that somehow I fabricated it was a vain imagination and that it wasn't my calling, it wasn't my destiny, that somehow I believed a lie, and none of that past 10 years of speaking and lives being changed and businesses growing and people becoming millionaires, none of those 10 years meant anything. That wasn't fruit. That was all in my own strength, and that God did not call me to that. I am a mother, and I have 5 children, and I'm going to garden, and I'm going to make fresh pasta. That's my calling. Well, it is part of my calling. It is, absolutely. It's the highest calling on my life as a mother, as the caregiver of the home, the one who makes all the food and does the laundry and, right? Yeah, does the doctor's appointments and the homework. I mean, that's my job. But it wasn't my only job. It was, yes, the biggest calling I have. But there was something else that was attached to me, too. But I believed a lie for 4 years. Yeah. I had a failure in 99, and I couldn't handle it. So I quit. I'm done. No more. It's too hard. I'm out of here. That's what I did. That's exactly what I did. Hey, listen, we're taking your call. What makes you get back up after you've had a failure? Come on, it took me 4 years. How sad, how pathetic is that? Talk about a big hissy fit. 2-year-old temper tantrum that lasted a long time. I wasted a lot of time. We're taking your call, 844-232-64. We'll continue with more right after this.
So what's keeping you stuck? It's time to get it out of your way for good. Stay right here for more of the Dani Johnson Show.
This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your freedom, your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel. I just heard this amazing story. One of our clients had written us telling us that they had used job domination and unlimited success and has absolutely exploded their career. He said, Dani, I don't know where I'd be today without job domination and unlimited success. Listen, do you want more recognition from your coworkers? Do you want to be recommended to people all over the world? Do you want to be somebody that is highly sought after? Listen, if you're in a dead-end place where this gentleman found himself, but then learned new strategies and changed everything in his work life, and obviously this has resulted in higher bonuses and pay raises, you're next. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Job Domination right now. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Job domination. That's what you need. It's time for you to dominate the job market and break through the rut that you're in.
Helping you get a grip on your priorities and your focus. The Dani Johnson Show. Here's Dani Johnson.
Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time, if we do not quit, we will reap a harvest. That's Galatians 6:9, actually. Oh, gosh, that is just so true. Listen, if you've got something in your heart, a dream that you have that you want to achieve, you have to understand and embrace painful disasters are part of it. Painful desires are part of your life, being a human being, regardless if you're going after a dream or not. I'd much rather go after a dream and suffer through painful trials than not go after a dream and still suffer painful trials. Hello? We're going to experience pain no matter what, being on a planet Earth. Come on, we live around people. People cause pain. Oh, Dani, I don't like that. It's the facts. It's the truth. It's the way life is. So what do you do to endure to the end? What do you do? What motivates you to get up and try again? You better define it. You better define it, because life is filled with failure, hurt, pain. It's a part of life, but it does not have to define you. What can define you is that you're an overcomer. What will define you, if you're listening to my voice right now, what will define you is that you are an overcomer, and no matter what comes your way, no matter what punch comes, it's an uppercut, it's a cross, a jab, whatever. Whatever it is, whatever punch is getting you, and if you just got sucker punched in the jaw and you're out for the count, get up. The count gives you 10. Get up before it hits number 10. Or is it 0? I don't know. Anyway, over here we've got Renee calling in from West Virginia. Renee, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, Dani.
So, what causes you to go? What causes you to get up? What causes you to not quit?
It's just a dream that's been inside of me since 2006, and I just keep walking it out, knowing that I'll see it come to pass. Everywhere I go, every place God has placed me, I am there to learn something that's going to be a part of what I'm going to do in the ultimate end.
Amen. Amen. Now, Renee, I don't know if you're waiting for something to come to pass, if you're waiting for something to manifest, but I feel led to say this to you right now. I believe that you think you are doing or building it as though it is already done. But tell me, what is this dream that you have?
To be director of a transitional home for women who are addicts. Awesome. I've never been an addict. It's just something that God has called me to
Okay. So then here's my question.
But I've seen it in my heart.
Yes.
And I just keep walking towards it.
Amen.
I haven't. I see it.
Yep.
Inside of me.
That's awesome. Okay, so Renee, let me ask you a question. Are you volunteering right now in a transitional home?
I've actually worked in a transitional home. I work in a halfway house with federal inmates right now, which prepares me. But I have worked with women who are addicts, and before I came to where I'm working now.
Wow. I'm so proud of you, Renee, because this is what I'm going to tell you. So many people make a huge mistake when it comes to their dream. And they'll say something like what you said. I want to have a halfway house. I want to have a transitional home for helping women get off of drugs. And yet they are not volunteering in one right now. They're waiting for the big giant home to fall on top of them. That's what they're waiting for some phone call to come out of nowhere and to say, I have discerned you have a dream, and I think the dream is to have a transitional home, and I'm going to fund it. It doesn't happen that way. You see, when God plants a dream inside of our hearts, He's asking us to step out and do it already. Do it. Do it at whatever capacity you can do it right now. Right now. So whether that is, in your case, you actually are working in a home that does this very thing. So which means it's giving you the opportunity to learn, how is it ran? Interviewing the director. Can I come to some board meetings? Can I sit in some staff meetings? Can I find out what the biggest challenges are that you have with running one of these transitional homes? And even doing research, like what's the best way to get funding for these things? What's the best way to find the women that need the help? Like stepping into it, knowing that you're going to be running one someday, so therefore you are there for that reason to learn how. So Renee, you are a done deal, girlfriend. You are a done deal because you're already walking it out. You're not waiting for the thing to fall on top of you. Reminds me of the story of this woman who had told me that she had a dream. She was building a business because she had a dream to take care of the elderly. And she just had an Indian woman had such a heart, a burning heart's desire to the point where she would be in tears telling me about this. So then I said, she wanted to take care of the elderly. And I said, so how many elderly are you taking care of today? Well, Dani, once I get that home for the elderly, then I want to take care of a lot of them. But how many are you taking care of today? Well, none. There's nothing stopping you from taking care of anyone today. Nothing. Isn't it funny how we think we have to wait for the building in order to live out the dream? It's not how the dream comes true. The dream comes true by starting with what you have right now, what you can do right now. So I told her, I said, today, you go find an elderly that you could go spend time with, play backgammon with, play chess with, make her bed, take out her trash, do her grocery shopping. Get out there now and begin to build the relationships with the elderly and live it out and take care of them in the capacity that you can right now. Well, she did. She went and did it. That's how dreams come true. Dreams don't happen by you waiting. Dreams come true by you stepping out and taking baby steps in the direction of that dream. That doesn't mean I quit everything I'm doing now and I go find an investor and start it. No. If you're not doing the small thing you can now, that dream's never going to happen. All right. This is awesome. Renee, I'm so proud of you. You are so on your way. Wow, I love it. Okay, we've got Richard on line 3. Richard, what keeps you going?
Well, Dani, 30 years ago, God made it very clear and called me and told me, what I'd be doing, affecting people and different things like that. Being the stellar Christian guy that I am, of course, I waited 6 months and I felt that was long enough. And I said, okay, God, let's get going. And I feel like I spent the next 20 some odd years just bouncing down the mountain, sometimes bouncing back and forth between the mountains. Lost a marriage, and was estranged from my son. Lost a business over $500,000. Had blood pressure that was 186 over 113, and almost began to get very upset. I said, God, you called me. Why is this happening? And then he made me realize that, of course, it wasn't about me.
Yeah.
It was about what he wanted to do through me.
Yep.
And then he basically, I just felt him tell me my spirit is the one thing that drives me every single day. And even though I love my family and everything, he just reminds me that there are people waiting on the other side of my obedience to him.
Yep.
Waiting to hear what he's done through me and to me.
Yep.
So that they might have a piece, a handle, something to grasp on, to know that someone who's now 51 years old and has gone through these things,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not talking to my son for 5 years. It's just painful.
Yeah.
But God has restored that. And I have a beautiful relationship with my son. I'm married to a woman I knew 30 years ago. And we're so happy and so in love.
Mm-hmm.
And God has brought another business for me to make the money that I need to make, to do the things that I need to do, so that people can hear what he's done.
Yes.
And I just never take light at that.
Yeah.
Because I keep picturing those people that are waiting. They're waiting to get out. They're waiting to be set free because of the fact that God has built me and designed me to touch, reach, and speak to people that other people can't.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And that is just what
that drives
that's what
you.
gets me going all the time.
Yeah. And guess what? You just lived out what that destiny is by the testimony you just gave. That you glorified your Jesus and said that he made all things new. You glorified your Jesus, that he truly is a restorer of relationships. That if we will endure until the end, through the painful trials in which we are suffering through, that he is faithful to walk us through them, to give us peace through them, and to guide us to take the steps that we should take. And I'm sure there was a lot of mistakes in the midst of those 27 years, but you've come on the other side of it. Thanks so much, Richard, for sharing. This is Dani Johnson. We're going to continue with your comments right after this.
If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do with your life? Discover your own answer. This is the Dani Johnson Show. Did you know you can see Dani Johnson live and in person? Go to DaniJohnson.com and find out about our next live event. First Steps to Success. Register today. Call 866-760-8255 or go to DaniJohnson.com/FSTS.
My name is Anders and I'm from Latvia. Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was a struggling English teacher back home. I had a language school that I started when I was 21 and had grown it to be pretty okay in my city. But at the same time, I had acquired a debt of $60,000. In a matter of 8 to 9 months, I got rid of my debt. And by 2011, we had our first $1 million year. This has been amazing. We grew our school from about 100 students to 2,000 students, and I can only highly recommend for you to come to the next event and be part of this community and learn the tools that will help you to succeed.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, my family and I were hemorrhaging under the pressures of debt. Since attending First Steps to Success in January of 2014, my family and I have paid off over $147,000 in 19 months. We're completely consumer debt free. We have restored relationships, and our business is growing at a rate of 15% at every event. Your next step is to sign up for the next First Steps to Success and start creating your own story.
My name is Jeff Conyers, and prior to First Steps to Success, I was a struggling business owner. I had discovered that my business account went negative $5,000, and I realized that I did not have a business plan and I needed to do something. Fast forward to 1 year after, I have now created, just by implementing the tools at First Steps to Success, over $50,000, created another another business, improved my personal and business relationships. Man, it's like the story is forever changing, and it just gets better and better. I don't know about you or what you're going through, but I would highly recommend getting to First Steps to Success.
Prior to plugging into First Steps to Success, we were drowning under a mountain of debt. We were heading to divorce court. We had failing businesses and toxic relationships. Since plugging into First Steps to Success, our marriage has been restored. We have paid off over $56,000 in 11 months. We've helped our community pay off over $300,000 in 14 months. My business has grown in over 600% in 4 months. And for the first time, I could say I'm just loving life. I have great relationships. So if you are fine where you are, then this event is not for you. But if you're ready to reach your goal and to change your life, then I highly recommend that you get registered for the next event.
Hi, my name is Jill Kearns. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. Prior to coming to First Steps to Success, my husband and I were struggling financially and were hurting in our relationship a lot. We needed more time together, and we just were struggling with that because of the finances. And so since plugging in, we've actually paid off over $280,000 in debt. We're completely debt-free, and more than anything else, the look on my husband's face of relief and excitement about where our future lies, and the traveling and the fun, enjoyable times that we'll get to spend together as a family is totally worth it. So if you want to have better relationships with your significant other, your children, if you have a desire to be completely debt-free and released from that bondage for whatever reason, whatever the burdens are, your next step is to get to First Steps to Success right now.
So prior to getting started to DaniJohnson.com, I was a college dropout. I was working a bottom-of-the-barrel type job. I started plugging into her training. I've skyrocketed through the ranks of corporate America. I've tripled my income in the last 5 years. That's all fine and dandy, but it wasn't, there's a part of me that had a part missing, so I ended up using Dani's prospecting skills, and I ended up meeting the love of my life. Since then, we've paid off $32,000 of debt since October 2014. So get here now. This is the greatest thing ever. You have to see this. The skills and strategies Dani teaches are unbelievable. They totally took someone like me with no education and helped me just like multiply my efforts. So you need to be here.
And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
But Dani, I keep trying and nothing works. Man, I've heard that so many times. I've had that come out of my mouth. Oh, boy. And I've had that get into my ears by all kinds of people. And what usually it means is that they are not working. They're not working in the direction they should be working in if something seems to not be working. And that just means that if right now you keep hitting a roadblock, a wall that seems to be 6 feet thick, 10 feet high, you got to find a way to scale that sucker. You got to climb above it. You got to dig underneath it. You got to find the sides. It just means there's something that you need to learn, friends. Something you need to learn. And once you learn it, and again, in this case, learn to scale the wall. What skill set are you lacking that you need to grow in so you can solve this problem? I recently had that happen to me. I did. I realized, my gosh, I keep banging my head up against the same wall again and again and again and again. And I keep using the same technique, but I keep hitting the same wall. And that's when I went, hold on a second. This simply means that I do not currently possess the skill to help this succeed. There's a skill I am lacking. That's why I keep failing in this place. Failure doesn't mean quit. Failure means learn. Learn. There's something you got to learn. And there was a particular big area in my life, actually, where I kept having the same repeated failure. Not this time around, man. I'm telling you. For a whole year, I've been learning a whole new set of skill sets to move me past one of the biggest roadblocks that I've encountered for a long, long time. And if you're experiencing a failure, that's what it means. Failure doesn't mean quit. It means learn. That's what it means. Learn. What skill set are you missing? What is your next step? All right, we're going over here to Kelly from Seattle, Washington. Kelly, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Thanks, Dani. Hey, I was just thinking, there's another approach to this too. And I was thinking that, I think a lot of people are really, really scared about what would they have to become to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can they really take that on? Is that really something they can do?
Yeah.
And they're always asking themselves these questions. So, when I was getting into something that was pretty big for me, I had no idea what I was supposed to do, but I knew I was supposed to do it. So I worked on it as hard as I could, and I felt flat on my face because no matter how much I tried, like the things I was doing weren't working. And so I had to kind of reassess what I was doing because I realized that the thing I had to, like this project was not from me. It was from a different source, and that source doesn't quit. And that source doesn't give in. That source doesn't fail. So what do I need to do to get there?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this. The things I learned from that wasn't that I was going to be successful. It wasn't that I was going to suddenly be the millionaire. It wasn't that I was going to be in charge of 500 people that just adored me. The success comes from...
Wait, I got to stop you right there, Kelly, because if we have 500 people that adore us, we got 1,500 that hate us. And for some reason, people don't tell that other side of that story, because you got 500 that love you, you got 1,500 that hate you. And that's the truth. It's the truth. What a fantasy to think that we would have 500 people that would love us and have no one that would hate us. I dare. Give me a break. Can you believe what fantasy chasers we are? Gosh, man. We want 500 people to love us, but we don't want anyone to hate us. You'll never get to the 500 unless you have a whole lot more that hate you. So good. Okay.
You are so right, Dani.
It's so true. All right, Kelly, I'm so sorry I interrupted you, but I had to just say that. Okay, so keep going. Keep talking. I hope I didn't get you off track.
No. But I was thinking, I was in this project and I kept getting enemies. Like, I don't know where they came from, and how do I deal with this? And the first thing is I want to run away. Like, now God, now you brought me to this. Now why in the heck do I have some more enemies in my life? That's I'm supposed to get blessing, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, so the whole point of being successful is to put yourself away. Let go of all those things you thought you were, and just keep walking. Yes. I mean, that's it.
Yes.
That's what God's trying to teach us. There's a greater. It's how we define success. What are we there for?
Yes.
Are we there for ourselves? Are we going to give up every time something comes at us?
Mm-hmm.
Now, in this particular situation. I did. I was out there on stage. I was in front of a whole bunch of people. I got a whole bunch of positive feedback, and immediately after that, I got canned. And I didn't know why. Okay, so I'm like, so I introduced my best friend. He's awesome. And they're like, oh, okay, we'll take him. We don't need you anymore. Oh, my God. Where did that come from? So now how do I define myself as being successful or not? You know what? Again, take myself out of the picture. Success has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
What's successful is the project I was working on, and it doesn't matter if I'm there or somebody else is there. It doesn't matter. It's the thing keeps going.
Yes.
That's what I learned.
Wow, Kelly. So good, man. Oh, gosh. There's so many directions I can go with everything you just said. But nonetheless, it's really funny that we can think that we're not where God wants us to be if we are encountering people who hate us. No, that usually means you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Look at Jesus. Look at Paul. Look at the disciples. Come on now. What a crazy, ridiculous, stupid poison we have drank. Gosh, that's been sold to us. It's like Walt Disney meets the church, right? It's pretty much what's been preached out of my mouth and other people's mouths. Seriously, it's like Walt Disney meets church, and everything's good. Just wish upon a star. Ew. And then everything is just believe in Jesus, and everything's gonna be great. No. Lie. It's not true at all, man. But yes, if we want 500 people to love us, then there are going to be about 1,500 that hate us. And if we can't handle that others reject us, we'll never get into the 500 that love us. Never. If we have other people's rejection cause us to reject ourselves, or other people's rejection call us to reject the calling, the dream that's on our life, well, then we're not ready for the calling. And so we have to suffer through those small times, those little examples like what Kelly was just talking about, right? She got let go. Somebody better got put in. So, but how does she handle the failure? Because failure is a temporary thing, and failure is designed to cause us to learn, to grow, to be educated in something. So for me, and I've been through that same situation, Kelly, especially as a speaker, right? If I cannot endure the criticism and condemnation of other people, then I'm not ready to get to the big platform in which I think I'm called to. And so if I want to get to the big thing, I got to deal with this little thing that's in front of me right now. And if I can't handle the rejection here, I certainly won't be able to handle the rejection in front of millions of people. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Oh, gosh, it's so good. Kelly, thank you so much. Wow, I appreciate that. That was good. That was more than good. Wow, that was worth the price of admission to the show. Wait a second, no one paid for it. I know I make people mad every day. I don't purposely try to make people mad, but I know I make people every day. And by the way, I love what Kelly said. Surrender, surrender, surrender. Surrender. You see, when we make our situation about us, well, then that's where our feelings get hurt. Yep. When we make this dream about us, if I make my dream about me, well, then I can be rejected, and that's where I can have my feelings hurt. But if the dream is not about me, but it is about He who called me, He who called me. If I'm about my Father's business, as Jesus was about his Father's business, has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with He who called me, and what He will do with me and everybody else that's involved. And I cannot decide for myself in advance what that looks like, because I only set myself up for failure with that. My life is not my own. Your life is not your own. We are servants of the Most High God through the Son, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. That's who we are. Our life is not ours. We belong to Him. To Him. And we are His servants. We shouldn't think higher of ourselves than we ought. Oh, gosh. Yeah. Oh, that one's getting me really good. Whoa. Anyway, this is Dani Johnson. We're going to have time for a couple more calls right after this. How do you keep on going in the midst of failure? Oh, gosh, this has been really good. All right, we'll continue after this.
Change your habits, change your future. This is the Dani Johnson Show. Did you know you can take the Dani Johnson Show with you wherever you go? It's never been easier to stay up to date with the latest content from Dani with the DaniJohnson.com app. Watch or listen in the car, at the gym, or on the go. Download it now from the App Store and Google Play and never miss a show again. Your family, business, and bank account will thank you.
Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org. kingsransom.org. The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success.
We're back. Here's Dani Johnson.
Don't you know that your story is being written? Yeah. And your story is filled with failures? Mm-hmm. Come on, friend. I was homeless 23 years ago. Almost 24 years ago, I was a homeless woman. Homeless, fat, and broke. It doesn't get worse than that. And alone. And alone. Husband took off, living with another chick already. $2.03 to my name, a $35,000 debt. Homeless. You know, it's pretty bad. It is. Gosh. And did it feel bad? Oh, yikes. I wanted to kill myself. I did. I wanted to kill myself. Did I have any idea that that story would be told to millions and by millions of people? Did I ever think in a million years? Come on, I was just in California with our family. We were driving up the Highway 1 from Los Angeles, all the way actually from way south in California up to the San Francisco Bay Area. Stop in Carmel, and we're stopping. We just go to just walk across the street, go look at the beach, and we were seeing some dolphins. We go to come back, and there's a man that says, Dani Johnson, an Indian guy, a tall one. Dani Johnson. I'm like, yes. Can I help you? You're on Secret Millionaire. Your story changed my life. That show inspired me. Thank you for the example that you set, and thank you for what you do to help people. Hello? I don't know this guy from Adam. That show was 3 years ago. Really? That he would actually see some woman cross the street with a bunch of big, tall men who are my kids, right? Come on, right? Listen, your life is not your own. And the story he's talking about was my homeless to millionaire story. That's the story he's talking about. Isn't that crazy? Did I ever know that even being homeless was going to be used for a purpose, for my destiny? It didn't feel like it at the time. Whatever failure you're going through right now, I'm telling you right now, my friend, that failure is going to be used to teach other people. So don't hide from your failures. Don't be embarrassed about them. Be proud of them. Be proud of them, because they're going to be used to help a lot of people. We've got Bethany from Toledo, Ohio. Bethany, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, Dani. Thank you so much. My husband and I are just average people. We both work for companies. We do have a business, but we also have a family. We have a teenager, and we have 2 kids under the age of 5. So we're busy. We've got a pretty full plate. So when God called us to homeschool our children this year, that was one more log to add to the fire. We weren't sure how we were going to do it, but we followed through with what he told us to do, and he confirmed his plan for us by blessing us with another pregnancy. So I'm currently pregnant.
Oh, my God.
Our 4th child. So this, as we approach the school year and going into the school year here, as we're starting to homeschool the kids, at the end of July, I was hospitalized for preterm labor, not once but twice. I have been on bed rest since July, which would give me every excuse in the book to quit. I'm working, and we have this business, and I'm on bed rest, and we're homeschooling our children while my husband is working. And we just decided to follow through with what God has called us to do. We could have enrolled our kids in school. Mm-hmm. We decided not to do that. We're gonna push through. We're gonna do what we know God is calling on our family.
Yeah.
And it's just, at the end of the day, it's so encouraging for us just to hear God say, you did a good job, well done.
Yes.
Good and faithful servant. That's what we want to hear at the end of the day. So that's what motivates us to stay the course through all these trials. We're staying the course.
Amen. And you can homeschool from your bed. You can homeschool from your bed. And every day, you lean on Him for His strength in your body's weakness. And so this is such a beautiful, for someone from the outside could just see this like, oh my gosh, are you crazy? This is such a failure. This is terrible. Oh no. Anytime that we have the opportunity where we can trust him, lean on him, right? Gosh, he strengthens us, strengthens our faith. That's a good day, and that's real success. Bethany, thank you so much, and I love that what drives you is to hear the words, well done, good and faithful servant. Well done, good and faithful servant. That drives me too, absolutely. It drives me to fear him with everything that's in me. Amy from Portland, Oregon, welcome to the show.
Hi, Danny. What keeps me going every day is my son. And, I'm a survivor. I survived with him. And his dad and I divorced a couple years ago. And sometimes it makes it difficult, though, because, I was raised in a faith-based home. And, my faith's still been strong, and yet it's been rocky. I have pretty much at some point laid down my gifts at some point to not continue that because of fear of failure or what God might think of me because of going through a divorce. But I just try and get up every day and try and think about my kid and try and survive for him.
Yep.
And which, a lot of times great strength for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, Amy, I want to speak this into your life. We recently did a show on this, actually. I want you to know that as far as the East is from the West, that which you have confessed as sin to Jesus, he washes you clean and he remembers your sin no more. So whatever it is that you're suffering today in, that's today. You're not having something from your past hit you over the head. This is just a trial today. And this is a normal mom trial. And by the way, all of us have fallen short of the glory of God. Amy, I have sinned. Amy, I have screwed up and I have failed so much, it's disgusting. It would take days, months for me to confess all of my sin that I've sinned against my husband, against my kids, against my fellow man, against God, against myself. I've sinned. But there's one thing I cling to. There is no condemnation for those in Christ Jesus. There is no condemnation for those in Christ. And as far as the East is from the West, he remembers your sin no more. So you pick up that talent that you have buried and you tell God, I'm yours. You are mine. You gave me this. I want to honor you. I want to honor you, and I trust you. And by the way, everyone's faith gets shaken from time to time. Girlfriend, give me a break. Everybody's faith is rocky from time to time. Even those that love God more than you and I do, we all get rocky from time to time. Also, Amy, if this is your very first time joining me on the Dani Johnson Show, I've got a free gift for you and anyone else that's listening that this is their first time listening to the Dani Johnson Show. It's First Steps to Wealth. It's my story of how I dug myself out of an absolute pit and ended up on top. First Steps to Wealth is to build a wealth of relationship, harmonious life, and finances. First Steps to Wealth. Call 866-760-8255 and get your copy. 866-760-8255. 8255. You can get the ebook copy right now delivered to your email, or if you want a physical copy, if you like to dog your pages, highlight, write notes in the margin, you want the physical copy, call that phone number, tell them you'll take care of the shipping, and we will send you the $15 book. This is Dani Johnson. Thanks so much for joining me today. Get ready for tomorrow, where we help you to succeed in every area of your life.
If this episode was an encouragement to you, go to DaniJohnson.com and share it with your friends now. You never know who else needs to hear it. This has been the Dani Johnson Show. Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for more insights that will help you get to the life you've always wanted.